Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is having a amazing Friday so far. These weeks are flying. I mean, it's actually pretty insane. I still remember it just being like February. Like things are just like this. But talking about time, today we have a video from this is 1980. The only excuse me, I need some water. The only great granny in the UK, record breakers from BBC Archive. Now, I don't know if anybody has broken that record. It is 2024, but we're gonna go back in time real quick, and we're gonna check this out. So, with that being said, we're smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. And let's tap into some elders. Here we go.
This is Violet Claire Lewis. She was born on the 12th of June, 1885, so she is now 95 years old. Now, one of Mrs. Lewis's 5 sons married this lady. She's Nisa Fanny Priscilla Lewis, and she was born on the 7th of December, 1901, so she is now 79. And this Mrs. Lewis, over here, is this Mrs. Lewis's mother-in-law. Now, this Mrs. Lewis had 2 sons and 2 daughters, and this one, Edna Violet Doris, who was born on the 18th of August 1923, married a Mr. Bastin. So this Mrs. Lewis is her mother, and this Mrs. Lewis is her grandmother. Now, Mrs. Bastin had 3 daughters, and this one, Pauline Winifred, born on the 10th of November 1944, married a Mr. Peter Ward. So Mrs. Bastin is her mother, Mrs. Lewis is her grandmother, and this Mrs. Lewis is her great-grandmother. Okay. Right. Now, Mrs. Ward had 2 sons and 2 daughters, and this one, Mandy, born on the 3rd of May 1963, married a Mr. Perry Boggins. So Mrs. Ward is her mother, and Mrs. Bastin is her grandmother, and Mrs. Lewis is her great-grandmother, and this Mrs. Lewis is her great-grandmother.
Okay.
Now,
hold on, is there one more?
On the 10th of May this year, 1980, Mrs. Boggins gave birth to a son, Philip Peter. And this is him. Philip Peter. Hear this?
And now he a grown man now. He older than me. I was born in 1993. And I feel like I'm aging a lot. I don't know. I think it might be the times. The times, just so much going on, make you feel like you're way older than your age,
Star boy, I'll tell you. So, Mrs. Boggins is his mother, and Mrs. Ward is his grandmother, and Mrs. Bastin is his great-grandmother, Mrs. Lewis is his great-great-grandmother, and this Mrs. Lewis is his great-great-great-grandmother. There, how about that? You can have a look at him. He's in good shape as well, isn't he? Now, in the United Kingdom, as far as we know, this is the only family who have ever had 6 generations living at the same time. That means, of course, that this Mrs. Lewis is the only Briton ever to have lived to become a great-great-great-granny. Mrs. Lewis.
Has that record been beaten, y'all? Let me know in the comments if that record's been beaten. I could look it up, but I'm gonna let y'all tell me in the comments, because I'm enjoying this video right now.
Aren't you proud of yourself?
I am very.
Yes?
Yes.
It's very kind of you to bring your family up from Southampton to see us.
Yes, I'm glad of that too. I'm very proud.
Well, you're looking in very good shape.
Yes, thank you.
What's it like to be a great-great-great-granny?
Well, I could hardly realise it myself.
Yeah?
I'm sorry. If I was her age, I would have been like, if I was to make it to that age,
Do they make a fuss of you?
They do sometimes.
Yes.
Yes, oh yes.
And what do you think of your great-great-great-grandson?
I think he's a bonny little chap.
He's a good one. He's the
Oh,
only
he
one.
is.
The only one in Britain, you know.
He is,
As
yes,
far as we
yes.
know. Yeah, and he's
We,
got a grip of steel on him. Look at that.
yes, we should be proud of him, shouldn't
You
we?
certainly should, yes, yes. Well, I can't let this opportunity pass without taking what must be one of the rarest family portraits ever. 6 record-breaking generations. What a picture, what a photograph. Let's have a go at this. Beautiful. Hey, what a picture, what a picture. Up dilly up, chop, 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 chop. Stick it in your family album. Dedication, dedication, dedication. That's what you need if you ever want to be a great, 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 great granny. Population's what you need. Hey, smile, please.
I'll tell you right now, what they have is worth more than gold. You know, worth more than any money, physical money. I mean, to have 6 generations right there, for someone who's never met any of his grandfathers. Um, you know, my mom's father passed away when she was a child in Nigeria. Then I've never met my father's father. So someone who doesn't, that's a lot of history passed down. That's a lot of firsthand knowledge and just those stories, everything right there, just passed down. The average so-called Black American, we don't, for the most part, we don't really. Ever since really the 1980s, you had something called the crack era, the crack epidemic, and that broke up a lot of families, a lot. And then just history for us in general has not, in America, hasn't been the best when it comes to tracing our lineage like that. There's a lot of people that's figuring it out, but you got to go on it's gonna come like one of them Law and Order episodes where you just kind of got to chase stuff down and search and read, this and that, and try to put the pieces together to the puzzle. Definitely a lot harder. So to see this is worth more than gold when you're able to. You're great. 6 generations. I mean, it reminds me of when I worked at Macy's, right? I worked at Macy's. I've told this story back in one of my music reactions a while ago, maybe 2 years ago. But when I was working at Macy's, there was this woman. She was 60 years old. I don't know what it is, but I'm always like, I get real cool with like older women, right? Like, we just have a connection. Like, we're just, I don't know. Some say I'm an old soul, right? So she's in her 60s and she kept saying, "You're a baby, you're a baby, you're a baby." So this one woman, I remember her name was Janet. She looks at the one. She goes, "How old are you?" The lady goes, "I'm 60 years old." She goes, "I'm 93. You're a baby." She was 93, still working at Macy's, and just very coherent. And she was just awesome. Like, that's the best way I could put that. But at that moment when she said that to that lady, I was just like, it made me realize, damn, 93. Just certain things I just can't imagine. Right now at 31 years old, I don't want to live. Personally don't want to live that long like that. Um, maybe 60s, but if it happens, then I got I'll be grateful. But what Egyptians say, foolish is the long lived. I'm not trying to like it's beautiful, but I don't know, like so much, like I said, so much be going on and just always tragedies. And this one just got shot, that one just got shot. It's just so much where you kind of just like, damn, do I even want to, like, I would, even when I'm at when I go, like, say if I stop somewhere and I hear older people talking or talk to somebody else and they'll be like, "Oh, this person's pregnant. Wow, this ain't the time to bring a baby into the world." Everybody in America at least just kind of feels it where it's like, these ain't really the best times. And not to say there hasn't obviously been worse times in history, but it's just, I don't know. But with that being said, That was an amazing video. Shout out to that whole family. Whew, 6 generations, y'all. Give it up for them. With that being said, let me know in the comments if that record has been broken. I'm just see now. I'm just thinking though. I'm just thinking, guys. Like I'm really thinking about the world. Like you hear so much, so much every day. Even when you try to tune out of it, you always hear something from the school districts to everything where you're just like, nah, I don't think I want to ride this bicycle too long. This human bicycle. I know I kind of went somewhere else. All right, yeah, I'm off this. Much love, y'all.